to share a little bit about the state of AI. A couple things on this presentation. I think it's like 70 slides long. Do not worry, I'm not going to go through all 70 slides. I did not write this presentation. This is my first time presenting this presentation, so maybe a little bit rough. But we had the person who did write it, who's a VC out in Silicon Valley. He spoke to our group via Zoom in New York a couple weeks ago, and it's really in-depth stuff. It comes from an academic perspective. There's no CS in here, but I actually think that's a nice change of pace, right? And it talks really about like where AI is going. And he studied all the research to get there. So a couple of definitions. AGI, artificial general intelligence, that's the new AI, right? That's the part that's kind of going to AI being really fully autonomous. Large language models, I think we're familiar with that. Transformers are what large language models really perform on. That's like at the more infrastructural level. GPT, generative pre-trained transformer. So that's you know, ChatGPT and all those. They're running on the GPTs. And then a wrapper, you may or may not have heard of a wrapper, but basically a wrapper is a UI layer, an application layer that sits on top of an API. So a lot of the different companies that are out there in the AI world, a lot of them are more, let's call it robust and fine-tuned and more scientific. Some of them actually are just wrappers, just UI wrappers on top of what they're getting straight from ChatGPT or from whatever LLM they're using. So a couple of trends. I apologize for all the words again, not my slides. Time to commercialize has gone down. This is also presenting to startups, right? So the time to commercialize has gone down from years to months. Lots of people out there trying to build the workflows. Like I said, that's really the next coming of AI is not just the insights, but the workflows. A lot of models are not enterprise ready, but that's actually, this deck was created 6 months ago, and that's evolving very quickly. Everything's kind of changing in real time. Number 5 is one that really kind of speaks to me and our company, is that I don't believe either that like data is a moat anymore. Everybody has access to data. So it's really what do you do that's interesting with that data, and how do you create what we call a contextual advantage, the way you structure that data and the context that you bring to the table when speaking to the LLMs. Let's keep going here. That looks a little fuzzy, but what you can see here is you can kind of see the boom in ChatGPT and in this AI via looking at the repositories, the repos on GitHub, of the different types of AI categories. So there's infrastructural AI, there's model development, I don't even know what model repo is, but AI engineering and applications. And so what I was just saying here, that there's a lot of workflows being built, a lot of those startups in purple, you can see that all of a sudden in the past year, there's been this just giant boom in the applications that have come from on top of the foundational level of the LLMs. And you've got companies that are evolving as well. Klarna is a data company. Their CEO recently announced that, you know, I think it's that they're going to be basically dropping their employees by large part in order to leverage AI and have autonomous roles. My personal perspective is that everything is in equilibrium. There may be some job loss from AI, but there will be other types of opportunities that come as a result as well. Okay, so some cool AI examples, and this should start playing in a second, hopefully with the volume. But all of these videos were generated by Sora, which is OpenAI's video generation. So everything that you're looking at here, and it'll flip to different scenes, is all AI generated. This was all from a prompt. We should probably pause more on the prompt so you can see what it was actually responding to.
I don't care if it's puppies.
Yeah, right? Who cares if it's puppies?
Yeah, we could rewind.
That is adorable. Should we just pause and just stare at it for a few minutes? Thanks, everybody. It's been a great night. So Borneo, I think Borneo, is that in Indonesia somewhere? So looking at these birds there, let's see what this one is. A movie trailer featuring the adventures of the 30-year-old spaceman wearing a red wool knitted motorcycle helmet, blue sky, salt desert, cinematic style shot on 35mm film in vivid colors. I can't even imagine in my mind what that looks like. And let's see what it came up with. Hard for me to believe that these images of these men is actually AI. But
It's real.
yeah, incredible. There's some more stuff as well. So this is a really cool example. Let's see if we can actually play it here. So you can actually mix your own music. Let's see if this volume is working. Okay, cool. I'm going to start from scratch. So let's create our own, let's be our own DJs here. Anybody want to give me a type of music, or it doesn't have to be a type of music, but a vibe or anything that we want to start to use as a layer of this personal soundtrack that we're going to make?
Ska.
Ska? Okay, cool. All right, so we got ska. Let's see what it comes up with. Is that ska?
Sounds like
I think it's like warming up. It's like the microphone. Yeah, okay. So now we're gonna layer on top somebody else. So somebody else give me another beat. Vibe. House music? So you can see it says it's evolving, so it's thinking about this now, mixing it. Let's see. So you get a little more housey. Anything else to layer on top?
country.
Country. I like it. Country. I don't know what it does with lyrics.
I like country.
All right, we're not going to be very successful as DJs, but you get the point. Ska, house music, and country. There we go. Yeah.
Quite the experience.
All right, we'll skip to the next one there. Sound effects. Another one here.
Hey, I'm Scott.
We'll watch this. So is it Kevin? Maybe Keith? Maybe interesting for you. So this is how AI can be a co-pilot for developers. So I know it's not exactly in our wheelhouse here, but I think this is an interesting perspective too.
I'm Cognition AI, and today I'm really excited to introduce you to Devin, the first AI software engineer. Let me show you an example of Devin in action. I'm going to ask Devin to benchmark the performance of Llama on a couple different API providers. From now on, Devin is in the driver's seat. First, Devin makes a step-by-step plan of how to tackle the problem. After that, it builds the whole project using all the same tools that a human software engineer would use. Devin has its own command line, its own code editor, and even its own browser. In this case, Devin decides to use the browser to pull up API documentation so that it can read up and learn how to plug into each of these APIs. Here, Devin runs into an unexpected error. Devin actually decides to add a debugging print statement. Reruns the code with the debugging print statement, and then uses the error in the logs to figure out how to fix the bug. Finally, Devin decides to build and deploy a website with full styling as the visualization. You can see the website here. All of this is possible today because of the advancements that we've made in both reasoning and long-term planning. It's a really hard problem, and we've only just started, but we're super excited about the progress that we've made so far. In the meantime, if you'd like to try out Devin on your own real-world tasks, send us a request below, and we'd be happy to forward it to Devin.
So I feel like how they really should have ended that is that guy ended up being AI, right? And that wasn't even the CEO or whoever. Keith, what do you think? Exciting? Scary?
No, what's funny? This whole time in the video, I've seen the trailer but haven't watched it. I thought he was AI. So, yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is a genre of VCs out there that are looking for like the next like deepfake detectors, right? Because we know that's going to be a huge risk for us all, right?
Exactly.
And then, well, on that note, perfect segue, this person is not real. Whoops. Let's go, how do we get there? Oh, I gotta go to this. Oh.
House for hours, you're comfortable walking around with all that stanky body odor that's been building up on you all day? What's even crazier is that some of you are applying deodorant on top of that odor, which is honestly probably making it worse. Let me tell you what I do. It's a little hygiene hack. My friend told me about these cloths.
Yeah, so she does not exist.
But there's still a little bit of Death Valley though.
Okay, I think we get the point. We've got Siri 2.0 coming out, and all kinds of really cool stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a deep enough knowledge base of this to give you a very precise explanation of this slide. The point is that AI, while it is magical, it's actually not magic. In this particular prompt, we're asking the LLM to translate this French passage over to English, and TLDR, without getting into the specific details, the way that it works is that it breaks down each particular word and really kind of identifies the different probabilities of properties of those words and really kind of pieces together each thing individually and ladders that up into an entire kind of context. I can't get more specific than that. You can talk to my data science and if you want to know more, but like these things are magical, but they're actually, when you break them down, they're not completely out of this world. The real thing to note here is this one. This is what's exciting to me. GPT-5 is coming out as early as next month. And there's really cool ways that people have been trying to detect this. I'm sure at this point some insider info has been leaked and things like that. But analysts that follow this stuff, they're actually going to the extent of like looking at energy usage that are coming out of the Google labs and the OpenAI labs and those sorts of things, because you can see the GPUs that are being used and how that correlates to the training of these new models. And so, yeah, GPT-5 is the one that's right below the highlighted. I don't know if you guys can see that from farther back there. But if you look at kind of the order of magnitude of the strength of the LLM and you compare it to the previous ones, to compare it to GPT-4, GPT-4 had about 6,500 years of knowledge baked into it. And GPT-5, is having 16,000 years of knowledge. I don't know on what kind of unit of knowledge, but these things are very, very quickly getting much, much stronger. And I think we're actually not far away from GPT-6 coming out. I think that's being trained right now. This is a recommended blog if you're interested in this stuff, to keep up with all the latest trends, if you want to take a photo of it. I'm also happy to share these slides afterwards. Can work with Swati and the team on that. And then research paper. This is also a signal of the quick evolution of AI. So per day, you can see that there are, in this case, 120 entries to research papers around AI. So these things are quickly evolving, and there's generally a timeline between when the research paper is submitted and commercialization, which I think is like 6 to 9 months. And so you can see here kind of how quickly that has ticked up, all the research that's being done on AI. We'll skip this one. Skip these. So let's talk about the road to AGI. And AGI is really, in this context, people think about AGI as kind of, the AI taking over lots of human roles and the workflows and those sorts of things. And for context, when folks in the community talk about AGI, they talk about these different levels. So level 0 is there's just no AI. Level 1 is emerging AI, so it's equal to or somewhat better than an unskilled human. We're kind of at like a 1.3, 1.4 right now. And then level 2 is like, that's really what people consider like true AGI. And that's where the artificial intelligence is as competent as the median of human beings, 50th percentile of human intelligence. And so you can see here some of these luminaries and famous folks that are talking about their predictions for it. Elon Musk is giving it 3 years to get to the intelligence of the smartest human in the world. The CEO of NVIDIA is saying that we should be able to get it within the next 5 years. Bill Gates is talking about the next 5 years as well. OpenAI's internal goal is rumored to be to get to AGI in less than 4 years. So it's kind of impressive how quickly these things are moving. And speaking of moving quickly, I just got the nod from Swati that I'm going to speed things up. So here's a graph as well. It shows the, again, like the expected amount of time until we get to AGI. And you can see here when we were, this isn't that many years ago, this is 2020. It was thought that we'd need 50 years to get to AGI. Then a couple of years later, it was like 30 years. Now we're down to, again, around like the 5 years or less to get to AGI. So really quickly evolving, and you can think about all the implications. Okay. I'm going to give you guys my perspective on this a little bit. And I figured the most interesting way maybe to show a commercial is to actually show you what we are showing our investors, behind the boardroom. So like I said, our mission is to build this knowledge graph that brings together customer voice, customer interactions, and maps it to business outcomes. And we're calling that our customer relationship knowledge graph. We believe that, use the clicker, churn is a huge problem. Post-ZIRP, post the zero interest rates, churn and expansion are what matter, thankfully, more than top line growth even. That takes a really cross-functional effort across all the teams post-sales and uniform understanding of customers. But the challenge is that customer knowledge often gets lost from folks that are directly talking to the customers all the way to the boardroom. And so this stunts your ability, not having those insights, to make the best decisions. And while everybody's focused on kind of insights from conversations for sales, for the salesperson taking notes, for the sales manager looking at competitive references, for the CRO helping with deal intelligence, and you've got Gong there who's rumored to be looking for their IPO next year at about $6 billion valuation. Big money in this. Who's supporting the remaining 80% of SaaS revenues, right? That's us, that's post-sales. And solving for the voice of those existing customers. So I have an idea who is, it's us, right? So UpdateAI, we're helping leaders to know what their customers are saying so they can make better decisions with more certainty. That's part one, and part two, again, goes back to that next phase, which is actually helping them to take action. And really what I believe is that CRMs and CSPs have failed us, and that CRM's customer relationship, they should really be about the relationship. And they're not, right? They're just kind of a fancy spreadsheet. So we really want to kind of bring that data and that relationship correlation and graphing together and put it back into those systems. So the way that we've been building our AI is under this hypothesis, or this thesis, that again, like there's no more data moats. Data moats are waning, there's no data advantage. I can get in our case, call recording software anywhere, right? But there's this thing around contextual advantage. How do I structure that data? What do I do with that data to give it to the LLM in a way that the LLM can really use it to really kind of take things to the next level? So that's how we focus our business, is extracting. In our case, we're starting with call recordings and working our way towards 360 view of customer interactions, email, those sorts of things, but extracting it in a very structured way, putting it into a knowledge graph that identifies like the different types of properties. Which type of person on my team is speaking to which type of person on another team? What's the life cycle stage of that customer account? What industry are they in? What product lines are they talking about? What do I know about them? All those different correlative factors and properties. And then from there, plugging that into the workflows and the agents that can help us to accomplish tasks. So, what we're focused on is kind of 3 layers of value. The first one is really kind of giving CSM superpowers at the meeting recap level. The next one is giving everybody a uniform understanding about each account based on what customers are saying, history of all the conversations. And then the one that's most interesting to me and to our partners is being able to take across any segment all of the conversations, all the insights that we gather at the recap level, and understanding the different trends that we see across our entire book of business. And this is real data here, but I don't know which customer it was or whatever. we took a subsection and said, okay, these are the different trends that we're hearing across whatever this segmentation is: billing concerns, churn risk, support renewal, service dissatisfaction, et cetera, and then being able to click into each of those, like, you know, snippets of what people are saying. Again, for us, this is like the part one of the vision. The second part is then, and so we have CCOs and whatnot that basically take screenshots of this and they bring it to boardroom meetings. But then for us, the second part is actually building the workflows to act on this.